Well, this is another story. Mary Lou called us one time and asked me if, she said, we're calling Brother Parrott down to hold some revivals, some meetings at different little places down here where we have established little works in different villages. And but we're wanting to have this revival at Yetta. That's their hometown there. And they were in the process of building a new church, and they had it just about all done. Their church is built out of solid cement. I mean, ceiling, walls, and all. They built scaffolding, and anyway, they were getting this church where they did have it. They exactly had it to where we could have services in it. They had little Sunday school rooms in the back behind the pulpit area, and that's where they put Brother Parrott and I. We pulled two benches together to where the seats were together, and we had four benches, so we had a bed. We rolled, the ladies fixed us up a bed, and it worked just fine. We stayed there, and of course their house was down in the village, and so we'd get up and walk down there for breakfast and for lunch and whatever. And Brother Parrott and I staying back there at night. I remember we couldn't get out on the floor to kneel, so we just got on our knees up in our bed and had prayer before we went to sleep. And we had a wonderful time, wonderful services. People was under conviction, and many of them came to the altar. Some of them, sometimes it'd be 5 or 6 deep at the altar, back down the aisle kind of, and be praying. And but anyway, we had a lot of little children that came, and they always sat on the front seats, and they always was behaved. And I can remember the church faced a little street that come up the hill from the village, the main part of the village, and right across the street in front of the church was an orange orchard. And this particular Sunday, I was sitting up on the rostrum looking out the front door, and there was an old donkey tied up on the inside of that fence. Someone had rode him up to that fence and tied him up and came over the fence to church, I assume. They're in that orange orchard. And we were sitting there and had the services going, and testimony service was on. And different ones would testify, and we were just having a good time. And all at once, that old donkey started bragging. And I looked at them little kids, and I said, testimony, he's testifying. It come in just really good there. But we had a good time there, and I couldn't tell you what all went on at those services. I do know that Brother Bonaccio's daddy lived in a little house out back of the church, and there were, of course, outhouse back there. They didn't have a restroom in the church, so they had a sidewalk built around the south side of that church, and of course the windows was always up, and and Marcia may not want to print this, but those children, you can imagine how many children, 50 or 60 maybe, and they'd have to go to the bathroom. Well, they'd just go around the side out there, and I never seen it. I smelled it. To that sidewalk. And anyway, that's another thing that's another memory I had. And the more I tell, the more that comes to me. So I'll taper off here and leave this much. It's more than Marcia can handle now, I think. Love you all. Them people like that.
People like that.